Happy New Year, everybody. I'm the heel. This is the man, Eddie Rocks. Welcome to the Eddie and the Heel Pro Wrestling Show on YouTube. How you doing, Eddie? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right. Happy New Year to all of you. Smackdown, Monday Night Raw, yes. WWE Wrestling,
yes.
January 6th, WWE
yes.
on Netflix. Are you ready for it?
Yes. But hopefully we're not going to have repetitive storylines.
That's what he thinks. What kind of fun stuff will the WWE be bringing to us in 2025? Yes. So,
Triple H, the man who said, get ready for a new Raw. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve.
A new Raw. Be nice to see. I love hearing it, but it remains to be seen that there's going to be anything new. So, call me a pessimist, but actions speak louder than words. Triple H, will you bring a new vibe to WWE in the 2025 year on Netflix? We shall see. I want to be optimistic because we love wrestling, and we wouldn't have this podcast. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't have this channel if it wasn't for WWE. So, let's go. Friday Night Smackdown, opening up with the saga of Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, the Winged Eagle belt. Tell me about it, Eddie.
It was an interesting vibe video package because it featured one of the classic Winged Eagles belts that the WWE had, and it also showed one that Triple H used to have. That wasn't the Winged Eagle, but it was like cemented on there as like a big gold metal plate. So it was very interesting to hear from Nick Aldis to address that and to tell Kevin Owens at the end of the night to please return the Winged Eagle belt or face consequences.
Well, did he?
He did, but he just kept saying, no, I'm not going to give it back. I'm not going to give it back. And it got to a point that Nick Aldis was like, they wanted a match. They set up a match for the end of the night for the Royal Rumble.
The Royal Rumble. When's the Royal Rumble?
February 1st.
February 1st, Royal Rumble, WWE, baby. Where's it going to be?
In Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. So, Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Bayley versus Nia, Trish Stratton, and Candice LeRae. This was another great match, but the story behind the story is what's always interesting to me. Let them know what you think about that match, Eddie.
It was a great match, but we all know the real story behind all this. It is about Jade Cargill and this whole who attacked her type of vibe.
I know.
And I think we all pretty much know.
I know.
Who did it.
The heel knows.
We know who did it. We all know who really did it.
Who did it?
Bianca Belair. And I'm sorry to say, but it's either her or Naomi. Because why would Nia Jax take her out? Why would Candice LeRae take her out? Why would Tiffany Stratton take her out? Come on. You see the seeds being planted.
Was it jealousy?
We don't know. Because, remember, you heard about the tag team titles and how Naomi is happy to be champion. So you sure Naomi didn't take out Jade Cargill and say, I want to be champion and not you. And she was getting a little jealous. That's probably why she took her out. But that's all. Hopefully the truth will come out. And Jade will find out who attacked her. Because I pretty much think it was those two.
Yeah.
We're not 100% sure.
I think that, yes. I agree. I think that Bianca has a jealousy for Jade. I think that maybe she felt that Jade was taking more of her space because I got to say this. I mean, we have two different kinds of wrestlers. We have Bianca and we have Jade. We have the powerhouse and then we got the pizzazz. We have the energy of Bianca Belair. Amazing wrestler too. But Jade is just a dominant force. And then I think then there's Naomi. I think that Bianca likes a woman like Naomi, who will basically cater to her. Whereas Jade and Bianca were on equal grounds, I believe. Two great wrestlers in their own right. But I think that there was only room for one in that tag team. And this is what Bianca wanted. She wanted a crony. She wanted somebody who was inferior to her. And that's just my opinion. What do you think? By the way, Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Bayley pulling out the victory versus Nia, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Oh, not to mention, how about the money in the suitcase?
The money in the bank. That's
Money in the bank, sorry.
That's very interesting because that is the other factor in this whole situation.
Yes.
Why is Tiffany so scared to cash in? And every time she does cash in, why does it have to be Candice LeRae, or why does it have to be other people stopping her from cashing in that money in the bank? Because you heard her. She wants to be champion.
Yes.
We all know it. Let's do it.
I thought it was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen on SmackDown.
Candice
I thought
LeRae,
she was going to cash it
You are
in.
a problem. You need to stop interfering. You need to let Tiffany be Tiffy and let her have her Tiffy time. It's getting annoying
Tiffy time.
that she's not cashing in. And it's kind of sad that you've got these wrestlers, these female women, that are stopping her from doing it. She's had twice now time to do it. She's had Survivor Series to pull it off, and she had Smackdown to pull it off. Now, I don't know what's going on.
It's going to happen.
If you're all scared for her to not cash in, but she needs to cash in. She wants to be champion. Let her be champion, please.
Yes.
Let it happen.
We'll see what happens. We shall see what happens with the new year coming in, 2025. All new things with WWE. Obviously, January 6th, Netflix. Looking forward to that. The big man, the powerhouse, the mountain of Braun Strowman versus Austin Theory. We kind of knew how this was going to go. The dominant force of Braun Strowman.
Mm-hmm.
This whole little game that they're playing with Austin Theory and what's the other dudes?
Grayson Waller.
There you go. This is just a joke. I guess Braun is just using some of these these guys to get back into the swing of things after being out for a little while. Braun Strowman with dominant. He's just dominant. That's all I gotta say. Braun Strowman, dominant force in the WWE. Massive. Just a massive man. What do you think?
He's huge. I mean, I've never met him in real life. I would like to meet him, but I've heard he's a really nice guy.
Oh, yeah?
From
It'd be cool to see Braun Strowman and eventually Drew McIntyre. Those two big guys.
Yes.
Huh? Yeah. I mean, you got Jacob Fatu. You got, who's the other massive guy again? But they already went against each other, Braun and, Lord, he was with the...
Bronson Reed?
Yes, Bronson Reed. Like, these are just amazing, giant men in the WWE.
That's the thing. With Braun Strowman, they need those type of guys to fight them. They don't need them to fight these little short wrestlers. It's like, you need big guys to fight big guys.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like every time I see Damian Priest go against, Dirty Dom. And,
you're beating up a kid.
yeah, basically.
Braun
Strowman pulling out an easy victory versus Austin Theory. Another great match. Street Pop Profits versus Angel Umberto. Action-packed. The Street Profits pulling out the victory. What do you think about that match, Eddie Rocks?
That was all set up because there was a backstage before that. There was a backstage interaction between who took out the Street Profits from that week. And then it was like DIY, Pretty Deadly. It was a whole big whodunit type of situation. And then when they found out it was DIY, they were pissed. The Street Profits were mad. And then that's when they went after... And then Angel and Alberto were in the back with the Street Profits. And I guess they were saying something about them.
Yeah.
And it came out of nowhere, and they were just looked at them like they were going to wind up getting them and just being mean to them. It was just like really weird.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you could tell the Street Profits were pissed. Like they were taking it out on a lot of different people. Because that's how the Street Profits work. They don't play anymore. They're done. They're done playing around.
Yeah.
They want gold, and I think they need gold.
Yeah, they do. They definitely need gold to cement themselves as a legitimate and profitable tag team for the WWE. Something that we were talking about is the talent that is being pushed from the NXT up to the WWE main roster. I think that some of these organizations, some of these wrestlers, some of these tag teams may be being pushed up a little too early. I talked to my man Eddie here about this. Is about character development and skill. If you can't develop your character, like establish a good, strong character in NXT, it's not going to carry over to the main roster. As you can see, some of these wrestlers, I'll point out later in some of the matches that I saw last night on Raw, that some of these younger up-and-comers, maybe they should have had a little more time in NXT, refining and developing. You have your character development, and you have your wrestling technical development. And some of these wrestlers, men and women, are just not developed enough, or not enough time down in NXT to carry over to a consistent and impressive WWE or main roster wrestling. So we shall see what happens with that. You know what I mean, Ed? Yeah, man. Street Profits pulling out to victory versus Angel Umberto. Earlier in the show, Sami Zayn was talking to the general manager, and Carmelo Hayes, an NXT guy, correct?
Yes.
Trying to make his way in this roster, to make his way through into the main roster, develop himself, decides to interrupt the interview or the conversation that, was it Nick Aldis? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis and Sami Zayn were having, obviously disrespecting Sami Zayn. So Nick Aldis basically having a Carmelo versus Sami match at the end of Smackdown. My man Eddie is going to break it down for you and what happened in that match. Lay it down.
It was the end of the night, and we all know it was a great to see Sami Zayn just show up on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And then to get annihilated. And we all know this is, again, about the Bloodline storyline. It's getting repetitive and annoying. Hopefully it's going to end sometime next week. Hopefully it'll finally end once and for all. Because I'm getting sick of this Bloodline storyline. It was great when it first happened. But now it's getting to a point. We need to get it done and over with.
Yeah.
And move on. Like, it's just, it's annoying.
I think that after the move over to, I hope, for our sakes, as fans, as YouTubers, as podcasters, for the wrestling world, that we get a change. The change that is needed. This is not the same WWE that we used to know. The Attitude Era is gone. I'm not very impressed with the product that Triple H is putting out there. It is good, but not great. I don't know if there is some kind of influence going on. I don't know how much Vince still has, how much he's in Triple H's ear. Do we need a change? Do we need a change up top? Do we give The Rock the opportunity to take the WWE into the next stage of its life. The TKO era, obviously, without Vince McMahon, without the McMahons. Basically, I mean, how many times do we see any McMahon?
We haven't seen one since what? WrestleMania 40, and that was pretty much, we seen Stephanie make her return, and that was pretty much about it.
I mean, we can actually call Hunter, Hunter McMahon, because he's basically, daddy's boy. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see what is going to happen in 2025. Hopefully, Triple H has heard the comments, and whether he really gives a damn or not about what we have to say.
But that's the funny thing. He even said that when they did the Pat McAfee show at WrestleMania 40.
Yeah.
He even talked about, the fans are fickle. They want what they want, and he really.
You want to get some of this, right? Yeah.
He really.
Yeah.
He really got into them and said, he didn't really like how he was even saying they're fickle. They don't know what they really want.
We want good character development and good technical wrestlers. That's what we want. We want the guys and the ladies that can develop a great character, to make a great storyline, and to also equally have great talent. Technical talents. I mean, I'm just watching some of these matches. Last night, watching some matches. Just mediocre technical ability. Especially from one of my favorite female wrestlers. I was so disappointed. Before we move on to Raw, any other comments you have about SmackDown? The Carmelo Hayes, Sami Zayn. Wrap that one up.
No contest. The Bloodline came out, interfered. It was chaotic.
Yes. Braun Strowman coming out to help out Sami Zayn. I mean, what's going on there? What's this going on? What is this Braun Strowman now coming in to help out Sami Zayn? Is this something? We'll see what happens. It's interesting.
This may be a new plot twist.
Yes, interesting how this is going to work out. So, Monday Night Raw last night, starting out with another promo for New Day, the New Day. Sorry me, and who comes out? The Mr. Main Event, Jey Uso, coming out and basically booing the New Day out of the ring once again. Jey Uso doing his thing in his fashion. It was kind of funny watching Jey Uso come out. Why? It was very interesting. Here's another plot twist. Why Jey Uso and the New Day? Why? What was so special about? Why would Jey Uso come out and tease the New Day? You know what I mean? You had Rey Mysterio basically kicking them out of the locker room. Now you got Jey Uso basically tearing them down in the ring, right? Which ultimately set up another attack by this Scottish man.
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre. Another beatdown on Jey Uso. That continued its storyline as far as McIntyre and his vengeance against the Bloodline. So, interesting. Didn't make a lot of sense to me, though. New Day, Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre. Uso McIntyre makes a lot of sense. Why the New Day? Why are the New Day not wrestling? Ever since they turned heel, I don't remember one match since then. All we see is, oh, you guys are so bad because you dropped Big E. So what? They're wrestlers. How many times have people turned heel, face to heel, turning back on each other's brothers? Come on now.
The Shield.
This is the crap we gotta watch. This stupid New Day promo every week. Put them in the damn ring.
Fight.
Let them wrestle.
Fight.
This is enough already. Are you gonna bring something special on Netflix with the New Day? Anybody cares? Is Big E gonna come out on Netflix?
There is talk of him being there.
Well, we'll see what happens,
But then
because I
he's
hope so, because I'm...
Big E's also hosting a show on Netflix now.
Oh, so cool.
So he'll be.
I'm just tired of it. I had enough. It's just, it's just dumb. Put him in the ring.
Yeah,
they're wrestlers. They got, that's great. Like, let them get back into what they do. But I just don't get it.
The whole storyline plot twist.
It just
stupid.
It just makes no sense. New Day and then Jey Uso, like, just makes no sense.
No,
sorry, this is the heel in me.
It was just, honestly, I'm just like, I'm sick of the whole, like, there was no reason to drop Big E. There was no reason to go ballistic.
No, I love the Big E drop.
Yeah.
I loved it because the New Day was just getting boring. This, for me, this broke them off. They were about to split up. They stayed together because nobody wanted the New Day to go away because they've been around for so long. Yeah. You reunifying Xavier and Kofi, but you're not wrestling them. What's the point? All they're doing is just yap, 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 tease, 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 kick them out of the ring, whatever this. Enough. You're wasting the fans' time when you could be dedicating that time to something more interesting or some actual wrestling.
True.
You wanted to bring us Saturday Night Live, no storyline, and all wrestling. So now all of a sudden you're going to just bring us all storyline and no wrestling? Garbage.
Yes.
Garbage. Okay. Otis versus Chad Gable. Break it down. Pardon me for a second, everybody.
Chad Gable versus Otis. We've had this match before, American Alpha and all that. That's nothing new. American Alpha and all them going at it. And it's just like, how many times we're going to have Chad Gable versus Otis? American Made versus American Alpha.
Alpha Academy.
Yeah, Alpha Academy. I wish Chad Gable was back with the original, the Alpha Academy, when he had just him and the other dude with him. Whoever that other dude was. The black dude that was with Chad Gable.
I don't remember.
I forget his name.
He's
still with the...
We're still recovering from New Year's.
Yeah.
So even our color man here, Eddie Rocks,
yeah,
who has all the detail, forgot. And usually that's me. Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Anyway, Chad Gable
versus Otis.
Versus Otis. Taking home the win, Chad Gable. Any more?
It was just, I mean, I liked it. It was just...
You hear that?
Boring.
It was That's what it was.
This
is the product. We're fickle. You're bringing us,
I mean, Triple H, honestly, dude. I mean, I like you as the head of creative, but I feel like we need the, what the hell is the guy's name? That's friends with The Rock, that dude, to take over. Because I feel like he could do something with the company and get it in a direction where it needs to be.
Well, we'll see what happens, because eventually, if any kind of ratings go down, but I don't know. I don't know.
And speaking of ratings, I was hearing that Vince Russo is kind of like getting tired of the whole Triple H thing. It feels like Triple H is eventually going to have to step down.
I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. So, ladies, Intercontinental Tournament. My girl, Zoe Stark, taking on Dakota Kai. Okay. This was the match that I was talking about. Probably my favorite female wrestler, Zoe Stark. Usually a big fan of her work. I'm a fan of Dakota Kai's work. But for some reason, Dakota Kai versus Zoe Stark was a mess. Dakota Kai advancing against my girl, Zoe Stark. Unfortunately, I was bummed. But very sloppy, very messy. I just was not impressed with that wrestling match. And this is what I was talking about character and technical development in NXT. perhaps some people need more time developing in the NXT roster. Not saying I think Zoe and Dakota are hella wrestlers, but obviously after watching this, I don't know if you feel the same way, but for me, I love a great technical match. I love something that makes sense. The match was just messy. There was a lot of mess ups. It seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication between Dakota Kai and Zoe Stark. So I don't know if this was two wrestlers not being familiar with each other, but it was one of those matches. Yeah. So you have the New Day opening up, which that's who you're opening Monday Night Raw with? The New Day, who hasn't even wrestled, and just a bad promo? You could have just had Jey Uso come out, being set up and being attacked by McIntyre would have been more interesting. Then you have an kind of match with Otis and Chad Gable. Then you have another match with Dakota Kai and Zoe Stark.
And the last Monday Night Raw
yes.
on USA, you give us that.
Yeah, this is what you're giving us. Just like the Saturday Night Live you brought back, and that was what you brought us. And everybody has been raving, sorry, not raving, and opposite of that, about that Saturday Night Live crap that you put out there. This is the stuff that we love. We love the WWE and everything that it was about before. We want, hopefully in the present, we want to love, but we want to love what's going to come in the future. But when you have opportunities like Saturday night's main event, the first one in years, and you just blow it, then the last Raw on what channel?
USA.
On USA, this is what you bring us. Next matchup was Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky for, is this the Intercontinental? It was the Intercontinental tournament? Another Intercontinental tournament. I'll say, much better match than the Dakota Kai, Zoe Stark. Lyra Valkyria pulling out the victory versus Io Sky, which was a good match, yet a very sloppy ending with the double roll to pin. And for two exciting wrestlers, especially a wrestler like Io Sky, you're going to have her lose by a double roll. She rolls, then roll for a pin, and then the other girl rolls her and pulls out the victory. That's how she's going to win. That's how you're going to end that match. With that talent, you have some actual talent there. Maybe Lyra has a little more, time that she needs. But Io Sky of all, that was what you give us. Very disappointed. What do you think, man?
It was downright disappointing from the fact that they tried to hype it up. Like, you tried to hype up the final Raw.
Yeah.
On USA from Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
And this, it's like, what does the WWE itself have to do? Do they have to get rid of Triple H? Is he the main issue? Why storylines are not going great? Because a lot of Vince's boys have been kicked out of the company, and we all know TKO wants to get rid of a lot of Vince's boys because of the whole
distancing themselves from.
And it's kind of really hard because you're not distancing yourself. It's like you're trying to bring it in such a way that you want to make people feel uncomfortable. You want the girls to feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Even though Vince is not there anymore. You don't know. Half of that roster is probably still healing from what happened.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not understanding where the roster themselves are coming from. And it's pretty sad. Like, you got Triple H sitting there acting like everything's okay. It's like, dude, Triple H, the roster is still trying to get over all that crap that went on.
Agreed.
And they're still trying to recover.
Yeah.
They're not going to just fully recover. Like, they're trying to get rid of all of the boys
Yeah.
that were associated with them.
Well, we'll see what happens with that in 2025. Hopefully, the organization will hear the pleas. Maybe they'll see what the ratings are. I don't even know what the ratings are at this point.
I don't even
anyway.
know what the ratings are going to be this year because
All I know, this is not the same WWE that I used to watch. That's all I know. The man, Eddie Rocks, of all people, is disappointed in the product. And this is the opinion of an expert right here. So, the only match that was worth watching last night, Damian Priest and the War Raiders versus Judgment Day. An exciting match, like usual, yet, we're in the middle of this feud going on. Obviously, Damian Priest and his history with Judgment Day, and then the War Raiders, and obviously their newer history now, this new rivalry between the War Raiders and Judgment Day. And the Judgment Day, devious, deceptive, conniving, all the great things that I love. Not the biggest people. Obviously, they're not the size of somebody like Damian Priest or the War Raiders. So they make up their victories, or their establish themselves as those deceivers, the manipulators, the sneaky. And hey, in life, you have to do what you got to do. So I give it off to the Judgment Day doing what they need to do, especially trying to take down big men like Damian Priest and the War Raiders. Although, with a great victory for Damian Priest and the War Raiders versus the Judgment Day. Dirty Dom getting destroyed like usual. What did you think about the match?
Overall, it was great to see the War Raiders and the Judgment Day go at it, and they were all great athletes in their right. And we seen the storyline between Damian Priest and Finn Balor still going on again.
Yeah. Well,
hopefully.
Well, this is Raw, so hopefully you're just putting everything in the toilet and flushing it with this one, because you end off the last Raw with CM Punk and Seth Rollins face to face. This is what you give us, WWE. You don't give us an amazing final match of 2024, an amazing final match of WWE on USA.
Yes.
This is what you give us. You give us a conversation. You give us CM Punk and Seth Rollins having the same conversation again for the last time in 2024, for the last time on USA Network. This is what you end WWE Monday Night Raw with. I'm just baffled that you thought that this lineup card to finish out the WWE Raw on USA before you light it up at Netflix, which I'm not optimistic. I think it's a ploy at this point that you're blowing it out to be more than it is, and it's going to be another dud like Saturday Night's Main Event.
But that Netflix deal, it could be like, they could drop it in like 10 years, they were saying.
Well, 10 years is still 10 years, and hopefully 10 years we can get some actual, some talent in the upper office, which can bring us something new. It can happen. We did it in the Attitude Era. WCW pushed you into evolving, right? You still got AEW now. You got TNA still out there. But they're nowhere at the same height as WWE. So the problem with WWE right now is there's no WCW to push them to want to evolve. You own everything, so there's no reason for you to even want to get any better or develop or evolve or anything. It is boring. You have some great talent. You have some great storyline opportunities. But they're not being used and fulfilled. It's an opinion. This is my heel take on it. Eddie?
I mean, you've got the rosters. I mean, you've got all these great, talented people. You've got ones that are in NXT that you need to start grooming and working with. Instead of bringing back Goldberg, instead of bringing back The Rock, instead of bringing back John Cena. No. You have all these talents that are on all these rosters, and you can't do anything with them?
They just can't develop them. That's the problem. That's the problem. Again, I go back to this NXT thing. They're not allowing these guys to develop themselves enough. Technically, character development, the characters just aren't that great. And some of it doesn't make sense. It just, I just don't understand how a professional wrestling company ends off their last show with two guys talking. There wasn't even a fight. They just did face to face. Like, there wasn't anybody sneaking anybody. Like, there was nobody interrupting. It was just, that's what you ended WWE with. It was almost like The Sopranos ending, or some of these other great series ending, and just like, what? Thanks a lot, WWE. Thank you for my last memory of the WWE Monday Night Raw on USA to be the faces of CM Punk and Seth Rollins talking. Thanks a lot. That was exciting. What a Raw. And I'm fickle. That was garbage.
Oh my God.
Garbage.
Yes. Yes, overall garbage.
Yes.
I mean, honestly.
For what you could have done and what you did do, that was garbage.
And I hope you realize, WWE, that was the same promo you did with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins when he came back to WWE. I hope you realize that.
So they basically just recycled the same storyline.
That's the same exact storyline you did with Cody Rhodes when he came back to WWE, and you bitch and complained about him going to AEW and screwing over the company.
He said which, everybody. He said which, not the other word.
Yeah, I did. Honestly. And screwing over the company like
there
you
you
did
go.
before.
We have to be kid-friendly, Eddie.
I know.
And I'm the heel. This guy is just going off. What is going on? It's New Year's, and he's trying to take my role. So,
I know.
Eddie the heel. New Year, 2025. I'm so excited for 2025. Eddie and the heel. We are going to ascend to the heights of YouTube stardom.
I hope so.
We're going to be the most famous YouTubers in the world. Or in our towns. We will be
In the world. Oh, yeah. No,
or our local area.
Yeah.
But Eddie rocks. Jay the heel. 2025.
Hopefully, you may see us at some events, hopefully.
Hopefully you get to see some events.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get to, maybe we'll do some, I'd like to do some shows from some main events, some live events. We shall see what 2025 brings. But
Yeah.
I'm just pleading with the WWE. Please bring in a new and exciting WWE Monday Night Raw, WWE Friday Night Smackdown, and NXT for your fans. We are in need of some great talents, some great character development, some great technical development, some great new storylines. No more recycled storylines. Can we please have the WWE that we deserve? Can you please bring the attitude back? There is just no attitude in this WWE right now.
No.
That's what your fans need. That's what you need to bring. And that's the final thing I'm going to say
You know
on
what
that
they
one.
need to bring back? They need to put William Regal in that role. Because I feel like William Regal could develop some characters too, or Paul Heyman. Like Paul Heyman, honestly,
yes.
I feel like if WWE didn't get sold to TKO, I feel like you should have given it to Paul Heyman personally. Because I feel like giving it to TKO, they're doing a lot of stuff that normally Vince probably himself wouldn't do. Like not give wrestlers tickets to go to shows, and it's just like, no disrespect, I like that you sold it to another company, but do they really know what they're doing with the company? Like, you're bringing the same storylines, the same everything, and it's like, giving it to TKO, like, I don't see, like, TKO is really, like, enjoying it. Like they probably would have.
Well, they're a big corporation. They got the UFC, they got WWE, I think they got something else. I don't know what else they own. They're a big corporation. It's now a big corporation. Not that WWE wasn't a corporation before, but it was Vince McMahon owned and run, and with his partners, obviously. But I mean, Vince McMahon was the innovator of the of wrestling. He changed the face of wrestling forever. Nobody contributed to the professional wrestling life world more than Vince McMahon. Unfortunately, that's what happens. You know, we have people in this life. They bring us something special, and then they move on. Obviously, everything that happened with Vince, that just cannot exist anymore. It cannot. It can't be held. We can't look to Vince McMahon to fix the WWE. That has gone. That is done. He did what he did. He will suffer the consequences of that. But we need a wrestling mind like a Vince McMahon to take over. And I think there are plenty of great brains out there. I think that Paul Heyman, I think Eric Bischoff, and you named a few. I mean, I just don't understand. To me,
William Regal,
but to me, I mean, Paul Heyman is the innovator that I think that the WWE needs to push forward to develop the WWE into this colossus, to this amazing event, because you have so much competition. The NFL, the NBA, UFC, all these other these things that people, the need for professional wrestling, we need to bring this to that height. So, just my opinion. Leave it at that. Any final words for the new year?
No, I hope we have a great 2025, and I hope it comes out to be great.
All right. Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm Jay the Heel. This is the man. Fast Eddie rocks.
Yeah.
We're wishing you an amazing new year, 2025. Let's hope and let's pray that the WWE brings something special.
Yes.
That's all I got to say. And we will see you next week. Another episode of Eddie and the Heel Pro Wrestling YouTube show.
Yes.
Take care, everybody.